By the end of the video, you'll be able to create a modern landing page for an ad agency using React.js, Tailwind CSS, and animate it using the Frame of Motion library. At the end of the video, we'll also deploy the code on the web using the Vercel platform. The best part about this project is that it's completely responsive. Before we begin coding, let's walk through the entire website. The website begins with a fixed navigation bar at the top. The logo is on the left corner, and on the right corner you see the hamburger icon. When you click the hamburger icon, a drawer opens up from the top. It consists of links to the various sections. After the navbar, we have the hero section. On the left side, you see a few profile images of the team member and a large heading text. Below the text, you have a button. On the right side, you see the images of the products used for running the ad campaigns. After the hero section, we have the about section. This section consists of 3 images of the key team members along with a paragraph talking about the company and the work ethics. Next is the service section, which consists of 3 tabs for marketing, campaign, and consulting. Every tab consists of 2 parts, a header and a paragraph text on the left and an image on the right. After the services, we have the project section, which highlights the key projects the company has worked on. In this section, you see the image of the project along with the description and some stats about the projects. This is followed by pricing section, which consists of 3 package cards. You have the package name along with the pricing and also key points highlighting what's included in the package. Next is the team section, which displays all the team members along with their role in the company. After this, we have the testimonial section. Each testimonial has a different color. After testimonials, we have the frequently asked questions. In this section, we look at how to build a custom accordion which opens up on clicking the plus icon. If you click a different question, the previous answer closes with a smooth transition. Next, we have the contact us form. In this section, you look at how to create the form in React.js and send emails. For this form, we'll be making use of the email.js to send emails. We'll also be using React Hot Toast for notification. Last will be the footer section with a few social icons and a copyright text. Finally, we'll also deploy this project using Vercel platform. I hope you're excited to build this landing page using React. So let's get started. Let's begin by creating a folder on the desktop. We'll name it Add Carrot. Drag this folder in the VS Code editor. Head over to the Tailwind CSS website and in the quick search type install Vite. Copy the npm create command to create a new project. Let's change this to current working directory. Run the npm install command. After this, install the Tailwind CSS with Post CSS and Auto Prefixer. Also, generate the Tailwind and Post CSS config files. Let's add the paths to all the template files. I'll copy the entire code and paste it in the Tailwind config file. Copy the Tailwind directives and paste it in the index.css file. We don't need the default code, so I've deleted it. Will not require the app.css file, so let's delete it. I also want to test if Tailwind is configured properly. For this, I'll copy this little code here. Let's rewrite the entire code in the app.jsx file. Paste the Tailwind code here. So the styles are being applied. For font, I'll be using Vercel font from the Google Font website. Copy the import line from here and let's import it in the index.css file. Declare the font family as Vercel. Background will be a shade of green. All the assets that you see on the page can be downloaded from the GitHub link provided in the description. Once you download the code, copy and replace the assets folder in your project's source folder. Let's also add the constants folder. The assets folder will contain the images and videos for the project. The index.js file in the constants folder contains most of the website's text, eliminating the need for manual typing. We'll be using a few icons from React Icons, so let's install it. I want all of my components under a folder, so let's create a folder by name components. The first component that we'll work on will be navbar.jsx file. Save the navbar.jsx file. Open the app.jsx file. Remove the test code and add the navbar component. Let's add a few classes. Overflow exceeded to avoid any horizontal scrolling if the content overflows. Add background color and text color. Anti-aliased to smooth the edges of the text. Let's declare a constant isOpen that will help us indicate whether the navbar is open or closed. Using the use effect, let's check if the navbar is open. If the navbar is open, I want the body overflow to be hidden. If the navbar is closed, the overflow should be auto. Let's also declare a handle scroll function that will check if the navbar is open. If the navbar is open, we'll call the event.preventDefault function to prevent any default behavior. Let's add the add event listener on the scroll and call the handle scroll function. Let's return a function that will be a cleanup code, which will call the remove event listener on the scroll function. We will also need a function to handle the smooth scrolling. Declare a handle link click function. Call the event.preventDefault method. If any link in the navbar is clicked, the navbar should close. For that, we'll set the is open to false. Our navbar will be fixed at the top, so we'll have to declare an offset. For this, I'll set a value of -70. Let's declare a constant element that will get the element by ID. We'll have a constant element position that will make use of the getBoundingClientReact function to get the distance of the element from the top of the viewport. Add it to the window.scrollY that gives us the current vertical scroll position of the window. Let's also get the offset position by adding the element position with the offset. For smooth scrolling, we'll need to call the scroll2 method. Top will be offset position, and behavior will be smooth. Declare a nav tag with class fixed because we want our navbar to be fixed at the top, a z index of 10 so that it is always visible, width is full. Let's add a border bottom. The color of the border will be orange 50 with some opacity. Background of navbar will be emerald 950. Inside this, I'll declare a div with class container, mxAuto, and some padding on x-axis. Add a div with class flex. The height of the navbar should be 16. Item center and justify between. On the left side, you'll see the logo, and on the right side, you'll have the hamburger icon. Let's add a div with class flex, item center, add an anchor tag for logo, add an image tag with source logo, alt will be add caret, width will be 120, and height is 20. Import the logo from the assets folder. Next, let's declare a button tag. Let's call an onClick function. The onClick function will toggle the isOpen state. Type is button. Let's add few classes. Inline flex, item center, justify center, background color will be emerald 950, some padding, text color will be orange 50. Let's use the bar icon for the hamburger. Class will be height 6 and width 6. Now if the navbar is open, we want to show all the links and also the close button. Add a div with class fixed, insert 0, z index of 20 so that it is at the top, flex with flex column, some spacing on the y-axis, background is emerald 950, padding on x-axis 20, padding of top 20, text size I want it to be 5XL, font should be bold, styling should be uppercase, text color emerald 100, and on the last screen, text size should be 6XL. Let's add the close button, add the on click, that will set the isOpen to false. Type is button. Let's add few classes. This will be absolute with right 4, top 4, rounded full, add a light background of emerald 900, padding of 2, text orange 50, and on last screen, right of 20. For the close icon, we'll be using FA times, add class height 8 and width 8. Let's look through the links that is available in the index.js file of the constants folder. Add an anchor tag with key link.id. href will be link.id. On click, call the handle link click function. Pass the link.id. Let's add a few classes. On hover, I want an orange background, so let's add a smooth transition. Duration will be 500, and on hover, text color will be orange 500. This will be link.name. As you can see, the navbar is now visible, and on hover, you can see the color change. After this, we have the hero section. So let's create a hero.jsx file. Import it in the app.jsx file. Let's delete this div and replace it with a section tag. Add class flex. This section should have a minimum height of screen. Flex wrap. Item center. Background will be emerald 950. Text orange 50. This section will have two parts. The first part will have the header tag and the second part will have the image. So declare a div with class width full on the mobile devices, padding of 8, and on the large devices, width should be 1/2. Add a div within this. Let's have a margin bottom of 4, flex, and some space on x-axis. So in this div, we'll have 3 images. Let's declare an image tag with source profile image. Import the image from the assets folder. So the image is visible on the screen. Add an alt tag. This will say team member 1. Add class height 12 and width 12. Image should be rounded, so the class will be rounded full. Let's add some border. The border color will be orange 50. Add the second image tag with source profile image 2. Alt will be team member 2. Declare height 12, width 12, rounded full, border, and border color orange 50. Import the second image as well. Let's copy this image tag and paste it once. Change the name to profile image 3. Copy the import line. This will be profile3.jpg. After this, let's add the header tag. Style it with class text 4xl, tracking title, on the medium screen, text size should be 5xl, and on the large screen, text size 7xl. The text will say, "We create impactful ads that elevate your brand." Add a span for elevate word. The color will be text orange 500. space is missing. Okay, this looks better. Next, add a button with class margin top of 8. The button should be flex because we'll have the text and an icon. Item center, gap of 2, rounded full, background emerald 900, padding on x-axis 4, padding on y-axis 3, on hover, background emerald 800. Add a span for text. The text will be no more. Add the arrow icon from the React icons. So you can see the button and the arrow icon. Next will be the div, which will have an image. Add a class width full. On medium devices width 1/2. For last screen, let's add some padding. Add the image tag with source hero image. Let's import the hero image first. The image is visible now. So let's style it. Add class height auto and width full. The navbar is also looking good. And this is how it looks on the mobile version. After the hero section, we have the about section. So let's create a new file. Name it about.jsx. Save this file and import it in the app.jsx file. Let's delete this div and add a section tag. Add class flex. Minimum height will be screen. This will be a flex column. Item center. Justify center. Background color will be emerald 50. Padding on x-axis 6. Let's add id equal to about. Add a h2 tag with class margin on y-axis 8, text center, text size 4 XL, font semi-bold, and tracking title. Text will be about us. So you can see the about us text is now visible. Add a div with class margin bottom 10, flex, item center, justify center, and gap of 4. We'll get the about text from the constants index.jsx file. In the about us, we'll have 3 images. These images will come from the constants index.jsx file. Let's loop through the profile images. Add an image tag with key index. Source will be image.source. Alt is equal to image.alt. Let's add a few classes. Width will be 1 by 4. Rounded 3xl. Shadow large. So you can see all the three images are now visible on the screen. Below this will be a paragraph. Add class margin bottom 8. Max width will be 4xl. Text center. Text size xl. On large screen, text size 4xl. The text will come from about us text. So you can see all the three images and the paragraph. So with this, we have finished the Navbar hero section and the about us section. Let's also quickly check the mobile version. After the about section, we have the services section. So let's create a new file, services.jsx. Save this file and add it in the app.jsx file. Delete this div and add a section tag. Let's add a few classes. The background color of this section will be stone 50. Add some padding. Text color will be emerald 950. Add ID is equal to services. Add a div with class container. And mxauto. Add the header tag with class margin on y-axis 8. Text center. Text size 4xl. Font semi-bold. And tracking title. Text will be services. Save this and the services text should be visible on the screen. So this section will consist of 3 tabs. One will be marketing, second will be campaign, and third will be consulting. So let's create a div for it. Add class flex, item center, justify center, and space on x-axis 4. Let's loop through the services. So this section will have 3 tabs. So let's add a button with key tab.id. On click, we need to set the active tab. For this, let's create a active tab constant. Which will use the use state. Default value will be services 0, which will be the first tab. Let's add classes. Padding on x-axis 4, padding on y-axis 2, font semi-bold, tracking title. Let's add transition colors. On large screen, text size 2XL. Check if the tab is active. If it is the active tab, add the classes border bottom 2, border orange 50, text color orange 500, else text color should be emerald 950. The text will be tab.title. Add a div with key activetab.id. Let's add few classes. Margin top of 8, flex. This will be flex column, item center. On large screen, flex row. Within this, we'll have a div. Add padding of 4. On large screen, width will be 50%. Add a h2 tag with margin bottom of 4. Text size will be 3XL, and on large screen, text size will be 4XL. The text will be activetab.content. So we can see all the three tabs. The first tab is active and has a different styling. Under the tabs, we also have the h2 tag visible. Add a paragraph tag with class text large, tracking title, and text color will be emerald 950. On large screen, text size will be 2XL. So this will be activetab.description. So now the description is also visible on the screen. The header tag and the description should be dynamic. So when you click on the tabs, the heading and the description should change accordingly. Below this, we'll have a div with padding of 4. On large screen, width of 1/2. This div will contain an image tag. Source will be activetab.imageSource. Alt will be activetab.title. Let's add a few classes. Height will be auto. Width will be full. Let's add rounded corner to the images. So the image is also visible. And when you click on the different tabs, the images also should change accordingly. Let's also check the desktop version. Everything seems to be working fine. When you click on the services in the Navbar, you should experience a smooth scrolling. The mobile version also looks good. Next section is the project section. So let's create a new file called projectshowcase.jsx. Include it in the app.jsx file. Delete this div and add a section tag. This section will highlight all the projects the company has worked on, along with some stats and images. Add class container, MX Auto, padding on x-axis 4, padding on y-axis 12. On large screen, padding of x-axis should be 8. Add ID is equal to projects. Inside this, we'll add a div. This div will contain the h2 tag. Add margin on y-axis 8, text center, justify center, text size 4XL, font semi-bold, and tracking title. Text will be projects. Add a div with class. Space on y-axis 16. Look through the projects that is available in the constants index.jsx file. Add a div with key index. Add class flex. This will be a flex column. Item center. On last screen, flex should be row, but in reverse direction. Add MD item start. Let's first add the images. So for this, we'll have a div with class width full on mobile devices, padding of 8, and on large devices, the image should take up 50% of the width. Add the image tag. Source will be project.image URL. Alt is equal to project.title. Add class width full and rounded 3XL. Below this, we'll have another div which will include the description of the project and some stats. Class width full, and on large screen width 50%. Add a h2 tag to display the project year. Class margin bottom 2, text large, and text color should be Emerald 950. Below this, we'll have an H3 tag, which will display the project title, class margin bottom 2, text size is 2XL, font semi-bold, text color is Emerald 950. This will be project.title. Add a paragraph tag for project description, class margin bottom 2, text 3XL, text color Emerald 950. And on large screen, text size should be 4XL. This will be project.description. We'll add another paragraph to display the project details. Class margin bottom 4, text large, and text color Emerald 950. On large screen, text size should be 2XL. This will be project.details. Below the details, we'll also display the project figures. For this, we'll be making use of table. Add class minimum width full. Text size large. And on large devices, text size XL. Add table row. TD with class. Padding on x-axis 6. Padding on y-axis 4. Font medium. And text color Emerald 950. Text will say investment. Add another TD tag. Class padding on x-axis 6, padding on y-axis 4, and text color Emerald 950. This will be project.figures.investment. Let's add another row. Class will be padding on x-axis 6, padding on y-axis 4, font medium, and text color Emerald 950. Text will be duration. TD with class padding on x-axis 6, padding on y-axis 4, and text color Emerald 950. The text will come from project.figures.duration. Add another row. Let's copy both the TD tags from here. Change this to outcomes. And this will be project.figures.outcome. With this, we have all the data displayed on the screen. On the left side, we have description and the table, and on the right side, we have the image. For the mobile view, we have the image first and then the description. Next will be the pricing section. Create a new file, adagencypackages.jsx. This section will display the various packages the company offers along with the pricing. Include it in the app.jsx file. Replace the div with the section tag. We'll give this section a background color of stone 50. Some padding on X and Y axis. For medium-sized screens, the padding will be px8. Add id is equal to pricing for smooth scrolling. Add a div for heading and subheading. Add h2 tag with class. Margin on y-axis 8. Text center. Text size 4XL. Font weight semi-bold. And tracking title. Below this, let's add a paragraph tag with class. Margin bottom 4. Text center. Text 3XL. Tracking title. And on medium-sized screens, text 5XL. Text will say advertising packages. Below this, let's create a container for the packages using flex and flex column that will align the package card vertically. Item center. Add some vertical spacing. Let's loop through the packages. Add a div with key index. The card should have a maximum width of 4XL. Rounded corners. Let's also add a border. Border color of Emerald 950. Add some padding. Add a div for the card which will use the flex layout. By default, we'll use flex column, item center, justify between. On medium and large screens, the layout changes to flex row and items start. Add a div to display the name, price, and description of the package. Margin bottom 6, flex, flex column. On medium and large screens, margin bottom of 0 and width 50%. Add a h2 tag for package name, margin bottom of 2, text large, font weight semi-bold, and tracking title. This will be package.name. Add a paragraph tag for the price, margin bottom of 2, text 5XL, and font bold. Add another paragraph tag for description. Next, let's work on the right section. Add H3 tag, margin bottom of 2, font semi-bold, and tracking title. Text will say what's included. Add a UL tag, with class margin bottom 4. Look through the services. Add a LI tag with key index. Display the service. Below this, let's add a button. For this, we'll use class flex, item center, gap of 2, rounded full, background color emerald 950, some padding on x-axis, padding on y-axis. Text color will be orange 50. On hover, background color will be emerald 900. Add span for text. Text will say get started. Add the add it forward icon. Let's test the UI. Next will be the team section. Create a new file team.jsx. This section will display all the team members' profile image, name and title. Include it in the app.jsx file. Replace the div with the section tag. This will have class container, MX Auto, some padding on x-axis, and padding on y-axis. ID is equal to team. Add the H2 tag with margin on y-axis 8, text center, text 4XL, font weight semi-bold, and tracking title. Text will be team. Add a div to display the team members. Div with class flex and flex wrap. Look through the team members data. Add a div with key index. Add class margin bottom 12, flex with full, by default flex column, item center, padding on x-axis 4, text center, on medium screen width 1 by 2 and on large screen width 1 by 3. Add the image tag. Source will be member.image. Alt is equal to member.name. Add class margin bottom 4. Add height of 48, width of 48 and round it full. Below this, let's add the h3 tag with font weight semi-bold, tracking title, and on large screen, text size is Excel. This will be member.name. Add a paragraph tag for the title. Add class italic, and on large screen, text large. This will be member.title. Let's test the UI. After displaying the team members, we have the testimonial section. Create a new file for testimonials. Add it in the app.jsx file. Replace the div with section tag. This section will have a background color of stone 50. Padding on x-axis is 8 and padding on y-axis 20. ID is equal to reviews. Add h2 tag with class margin on y-axis 8. Text center. Text size 4XL. Font width semi-bold. And tracking title. Text will say what client say. Let's add a div below this. Class container. MX auto. Use flex. Flex wrap with a gap of 8. Let's look through the testimonials. Add a div with key index. Let's add few classes. Rounded 3XL. Padding of 4. The background color is dynamic. So let's get the background color. Similarly, let's get the text color. Flex. I want minimum width to be 250 pixel. Flex 1. This will be flex column and item start. Let's first add the image tag. Source will be testimonial.image. Alt will be testimonial.author. Let's add a few classes. Margin bottom of 4, rounded 3xl, and image should have object cover. Add a paragraph tag for the text. Margin bottom of 4, text large. On medium screens, text XL, and on large screens, text 2XL. This will be testimonial.text. Add a div for author and title. Class margin top of 6. Add a paragraph tag for author. Class font bold. This will be testimonial.author. Add another paragraph with class text small and display the title. Let's quickly check the UI. Next section is the FAQ section. Create a new file called faq.jsx. This section will contain a custom accordion which will hide and display the question and answers. Import it in the app.jsx file. For accordion, let's declare a constant active index which will indicate the active question that is clicked by the user. Let's create a function called handle toggle. The way accordion will work is, if we have an active index, we'll set a minimum height for the div containing the answer, else the height will be 0. Declare a section tag. With class margin top of 20. ID is equal to FAQ. Add a div with class container mx auto flex column gap of 12, some padding, and on large screen flex row. Create a div for the header and description. On large screen width is 1/3. Add h2 tag with class margin bottom of 8. Text 4xl. Font weight semi-bold. and tracking title. Text will be frequently asked questions. Add a paragraph tag with margin bottom of 12 and text size is large. This will be FAQ underscore description. Add the second div with class on large screen width 2 by 3. Let's look through the FAQs. Add a div with key index. Class of margin bottom 4. Border bottom and padding bottom of 4. Add a div for toggle. Flex. Cursor pointer. Item center. Justify between. And some padding. On click, call the handle toggle and pass the index. Add a h3 tag with class text to Excel. Content will be FAQ.question. Add a div for the plus and minus symbols. If the active tab is index, then we'll show the minus icon. Class will be text Excel. Else will show the plus icon. Below this, let's have a div for the answer. Class margin top of 4. Overflow hidden. Text large. Transition all. Duration of 500. If the active index is equal to the current index, then let's set the height to max height screen. Else, the height will be 0. Add a paragraph for the answer. This will be FAQ.answer. When you click on the plus icon, the answer shows up. If you click on any other question, the previous answer will be hidden and the new answer will show up. Next section is the contact form section. We'll be using email.js to send emails from our application. So let's install it. I'll be making use of the React Hot Toast package to add the notification to our application. Let's install the package. Create a new file under Components folder and name it Contact Form. Add it in the app.jsx file. You can sign up for a free account if you do not have one already. Once this is done, you can sign in. Click on the Add New Service and select the service that you would like to connect with. I'll be using Gmail for this video. Click on Create Service and connect the account. Now, let's create a new email template. You can customize the email as per your liking. Let's edit the content. I'll remove the first line and change it to say, from username. This will be user email. Let's also remove the best wishes. Apply changes. Let's save it. Import the email.js package. Let's initialize the form data state using useStateHook. This will contain three properties: name, email, and message. Similarly, error to handle the form errors. We'll also have isSending state to handle the send button. Let's declare a handle change function to update the state of the form fields dynamically as the user types. Destructure name and value properties from the e.target. Update the form data state using the setFormData. Let's also declare a function to handle the form errors. If the name field in form data is empty, let's add an error message to the errors object. Similarly, if the email is empty, let's add error message, email is required. If the email is present, we need to check the format of email using the regular expression. If the message is not present, error message is required. In the end, return the errors. Now let's work on handling the submit button. Prevent the default behavior. We'll check for any validation errors by calling the validate function. If there are validation errors, update the error state using setErrors function. Else, error is empty. And isSending state is set to true so that the button is disabled. Let's call the email.js send function. Copy the service ID. Next will be the template ID. Followed by form data. And last will be the public key. Then response. Let's also invoke the toast notification. Message sent successfully. Let's also reset the form data. Catch any error. Log the error. Use the toast notification to display error message. Finally, set is sending to false to enable the send button. Create a section tag. The background of this section will be stone 50. Add some padding. ID is equal to contact. Call the toaster component. Add h2 tag. Margin on y-axis 8. Text center. Text size 4 XL. Font semi-bold. And tracking title. Text will say let's connect. Add a form tag. On submit, call the handle submit. Add class mxauto. Margin on bottom 20. On last screen, max width 3 XL. Add a div with class. Margin bottom 4. Flex. Space X 4. Add a div for input tag. Class will be on large screen width 1/2. Add the input tag. Type is text. ID is equal to name. Name is equal to name. Value is equal to form data.name. Placeholder is equal to name. On change, call the handle change function. Add class margin bottom 8. Width full. Appearance none. Rounded large. Border. Border color emerald 950. Background transparent. Add some padding. Text size will be small. For focus, the border color will be stone 400. And focus outline will be none. If errors.name is present, Display a paragraph with class text small. Text color rows 800. This will be errors.name. Let's copy and paste this twice. Next, change this to margin bottom 4. Change the type to email. Change ID name placeholder also to email. Value is equal to form data.email. Let's also change the error messages. Replace this with text area. ID is equal to message. Name is equal to message. Value will be form data.message. Placeholder is also message. This will be errors.message. Add a button tag. Type will be submit. Add class margin bottom 8. Width full. Round it. Border. Background color emerald 950. Add some padding. Text size will be small. Font weight semi-bold. Text color will be orange 50. On hover, background will be emerald 900. If sending is true, add class cursor not allowed. With opacity 50. Disabled is equal to sending. Add a div for text. Class flex. Item center. Justify center. And gap of 2. If sending is true, the text will say sending. Else, it will say send. Add the send icon. Let's check if we are able to send the email along with the notification. Let's add some test data. The button text changes to sending and the notification pops up. You can see we are also receiving the email. Last section will be the footer section. Create a new file footer.jsx. Include it in the app.jsx. Add the footer tag. Class will be background emerald 950. Some padding on y-axis. And text color will be orange 15. Add a div with class container, mxauto, flex column, item center, justify center, space on y-axis 4, and on medium screens, space on y-axis 0. Add a div with class margin bottom 4, flex, and space on x-axis 4. Add an anchor tag. Let's add 4 icons for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Add a div for copyright text. Class will be text small and opacity 50. Add the current year. All rights reserved. So with this, we have also completed the footer section. For animation, we'll be making use of the Frame of Motion library. So let's first install it. Once this is done, the first section that we are going to animate will be the Navbar component. For animating this section, let's create a variant, constant link variants, is equal to hidden, which will have opacity of 0, and value of y will be 20. Visible, For this, we'll have opacity 1 and value of y 0. Since the drawer will not be visible by default, we'll have to make use of the animate presence component. Let's wrap our content within the animate presence component. Let's also import motion from frame of motion. Add motion to the div. Initial value will be opacity 0, y will be minus 100%, animate will be opacity 1 and y 0. On exit, let's have an opacity of 0 and y is equal to minus 100%. Add transition, duration of 0.5. Add motion to the anchor tag. Variance is equal to link variance. Initial value hidden. Animate is equal to visible. Transition. Duration will be 0.5. Let's add a delay. Index into 0.2. Refresh the page so you can see a smooth animation. Okay, so let's move ahead. Open up the hero.jsx file. Import motion from frame of motion. Add motion to the image tag. Initial value, opacity 0, scale is equal to 0.8. Animate is equal to opacity, value will be 1, and add a scale of 1. Add transition, duration of 0.8. Add a delay. Delay will be 0.1. Copy this code. Add motion to the second image. Paste the code here. Similarly, add motion to the third image. Once again, paste the code here. Change the delay to 0.3. Add motion to the h1 tag. Initial, opacity 0, y minus 20. Animate, opacity 1, value of y will be 0. Add transition with duration 0.8. Add motion to button. Initial value will be opacity 0, y minus 20, animate with opacity 1 and y 0. Let's add transition, duration of 1. So you can see the button animating. Next, let's add motion to the image tag. Add the initial value, opacity of 0, scale of 0.8, animate, opacity of 1, scale of 1, add transition, duration of 0.8. Okay. So next section to animate will be the about section. Open the about.jsx file. Let's create a variant. Image variant is equal to hidden. Opacity will be 0. Y will be 50. Visible with opacity 1 and y 0. Let's not forget to import the motion from frame of motion. Add motion to the image tag. Variance is equal to image variance. Initial value will be hidden. While in view, value will be visible. I want this to animate only once, so viewport will be once true. Add transition, duration of 0.5. Add delay. Value will be image.delay. So you can see all the three images are now animating. Next will be the services. Import motion from the frame of motion library. Add motion to this div. Initial value, opacity 0. Value of y will be 50. Animate with opacity 1 and value of y will be 0. On exit, opacity will be 0 and y value will be 50. Add transition with duration 0.5. So with this, we have animated our React application. For deployment, we'll be making use of the Vercel, which is the popular choice when deploying React and Next.js applications. And if you check the pricing, Vercel has a free tier which allows you to deploy applications like the one we have built. So if you do not have an account, you can sign up for the free plan. Let's also quickly check if we are not missing anything. Everything looks good. Before deploying the code on Vercel, we need to create a GitHub repository and push our code. So let's create a new repository on the GitHub. I'll name the repository as add caret. Click on the create repository button. Let's go to the terminal and type git init to initialize the Git repository. Add all the changes. Let's commit the code. I'll also copy the git branch main command. Let's paste the git remote add origin command in the terminal and hit enter. Push the code to the origin. Okay, so with this, our code is now available on GitHub and we can use Vercel to deploy this code. Now on the Vercel website, click on the add new project link. This will list all our GitHub repositories. I want to deploy the latest repository at caret, so I'll click on the import button besides it. I'll keep all the default options here and press the deploy button. This will take some time to deploy the project. Once done, you'll see the congratulations message, which means your project is deployed successfully on Vercel. If you click the image below, it will take you to the website. As you can see, our React app is now available on the web. I hope you have enjoyed watching this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more exciting videos. Take care.